I love when I make discoveries like this, kind of in the course of doing other things. This, I believe this is Mount Hebron, however it's pronounced. A Jewish cemetery in Flushing. And I haven't encountered a sign yet, and to me it reduces the sense of discovery to look it up on a map. But this is clearly a Jewish cemetery, and if it's Mount Hebron, there's this is where Barbra Streisand has a mausoleum. I don't think she's dead yet, but she purchased a spot here. Jewish cemeteries are always much more crowded than Catholic cemeteries because a tombstone is required. If you go out to Calvary or Old Calvary or New Calvary or any of the Catholic cemeteries, looks like there's all this unused space, but that's because so many of the burials are unmarked. Probably 2/3 of them at Old Calvary. New Calvary has actually started to enforce mandatory tombstones, and you can tell when you get out to 4th Calvary and 3rd, it gets a lot more crowded. And it seems to be the Old Calvary, the new burials that they're putting in there now, also seem to all require tombstones, but there still remains a lot of unmarked graves out there, but not here. Not at this one. This is on Main Street, Flushing. Indeed it is, Mount Hebron and Cedar Grove. I'm not going to go too deep into this. I wasn't expecting to be out here all day, but I really don't have anything else to do, so. I mean, that's never true. I always have something that I could and should be doing, but I'm not on any kind of deadline these days. I developed this specific interest in these sepulchral portraits. Well, they've been experiencing a bit of a revival, a renaissance, but most of the ones you see are from the early 20th century. It's just a style of portraiture that doesn't really exist anymore. People are forced to smile. And the theory is that, I mean, the conventional wisdom used to be that those old portraits, nobody smiled because the exposure took so long that you'd be smiling for several seconds and it would seem unnatural. But really, that's just the way people were back then. What's really unnatural is the fact that we are forced to smile now. And some people blame Kodak for that. For the Kodak moment, that they manufactured the practice of smiling for the camera. Yeah, the portraits, this is what I meant by, there's a different style, but I think this is called sandblasting. But the portraits have experienced a bit of a renaissance in the last maybe 10-15 years. In this manner, as well as in just straight up photographs. Where the heck is everybody? Looks like the grounds are all pretty flat. Mount Zion, another Jewish cemetery, is a really beautiful landscape. Rolling hillsides and sort of abutting the urban blight. There's not supposed to be standing water in cemeteries, but I guess it's inevitable after a big rain, but they don't let you put vases with water in them, and they don't let you put real flowers anymore, although I see people do it anyway. It's because there's a pretty credible theory that the West Nile virus got its start in New York City cemeteries. I don't think that was ever proven definitively, but I think St. Michael's even has a sign to the effect that says, in order to prevent the spread of West Nile, we no longer allow standing water. Here's a rare open space. A little visual breathing room, if you will. Oh, here's another portrait. I collected hundreds of photos of these things. Hundreds of photos of photos. And the somewhat distressing thing is that a lot of them look like this. They've just been smashed. It's hard. There's no way to tell if this one was deliberate, but I think this one back here definitely was. And you see, I hate to say, but you see a lot more of this with the Jewish cemeteries than the Catholic. There's just a lot of hate in the world. Here's a pristine, intact one. But then you get one of these. Yeah, I mean, somebody came in here with some kind of sharp object with the intent of doing this. It's really unfortunate. No way to know if that was deliberately knocked over. Sometimes these things fall off on their own, but that does look pretty deliberate. I was just reminded of this funny New York Post front page headline. There was a story about a guy that went out to a cemetery to visit his mother's burial site. When he got there, he found one of the groundskeepers urinating at the grave. I mean, it's not funny, but... and it turned out the groundskeeper was like 90 years old and somewhat incontinent. But still, it's not something you want to stumble upon. But anyway, the front page of the Post the next day was RIPEE, rest in P. Oh my. Looks like there's a service going on. Long line of cars. So I'll respectfully avoid that. When I used to do the forensic genealogist thing, I don't think I ever got a job to come out to any of the Jewish cemeteries. Although somebody did ask me to get a picture of the front gate of one of them. I don't remember if I actually did that or not. And it just rolls on and on. Looks like the trees would be pretty abundant during the summertime. There's a couple of basketballs. I've seen tombstones with sports teams logos like Yankees or the Rangers or whatever. I always question if the Yankees license those placements or the teams get a cut, or if they just let it go. Conventional wisdom used to be that putting little rocks on the tombstones was strictly a Jewish thing, but I've seen it plenty of times at other denominations, cemeteries of other denominations or religions. Look at that, the sun's coming out. It's cloudy as hell, but there's not supposed to be any rain today. Alright, I'm going to head out. This is a nice little surprise.